Okay, so I thought I was going to go ahead and at least play once through without recording it, just so I could stop and read the cards. But this is pretty similar to Tin Helm, so I'm pretty comfortable be able to get through this. There's only a few new elements added to this that are going to make this a lot of fun, though, I think. But to go ahead and start, I chose to start off with the dwarf here with the Sentinel class. So the dwarf may spend one favor to re-roll his attack dice. So this is pretty cool. You can actually have a use case for favor now. Potentially enhance the game. It's not just about points. It's something you can actually spend. So it's going to be a currency within this as well. On the full board, so these go over here. Got our deck here. I'm going to go ahead and just put the additional class underneath. The dwarf also starts, or I should say not the dwarf, it's really any of them, but it's the sentinel really that starts with this. The Iron Helm and the broadsword. So the Iron Helm is going to reduce damage from attacks by 1. So this is the same as the Iron Helm in the game Iron Helm. Definitely a direct reference. It does the same thing, so it removes 1 damage. And the broadsword here says when you roll doubles in combat, you may re-roll, but must use the new result. So the rule for this, as it states in our little rule deck, similar, or actually exactly the same as in Tin Helm, and I believe Iron Helm, right? If you roll doubles, it's a miss. This goes for the enemy as well. So rolling doubles is never a good thing. So what this broadsword is saying is it allows you to then re-roll that. So essentially we won't ever miss. We are always going to be able to re-roll. It doesn't say if you roll doubles 2 times in a row, what does that mean? Do you get to keep going? I'm not sure, but we won't think about that for right now. Everything else is set up appropriately. So we've got our favor at 0. We've got our energy at 10. The dwarf starts with 1 ration, so we've got that. And our health is at 13. And this is new here with Tin Realm, is you actually need to track poison. So this is also a new addition brought over from Iron Helm. So you could or will potentially gain poison as we go through the game. And the general rule is if the poison ever gets to the level of your given health, you automatically die. Right, so as you progress up, if I was at 4 health, gain poison, I'm dead, right? Pretty straightforward there. So we'll see how that applies and how you actually get poisoned in the game. I'm not sure how that's going to take place yet. But everything else we can just kind of go through, I think, as we play. Again, this is going to be my very first time playing it. We are tracking our days in 2 ways. There's really a way of, I guess, how days are tracked. One, it's by going through our dungeon deck or our what is it referred to as? Our locations deck, I believe. There are 12 of them. When you resolve a card, and we'll get to see how we resolve cards here. If we do successfully resolve it, it's going to go in our tableau up here. Once we collect 6 cards, that ends the day. And we will need to go through a series of commands. And I actually do have the list of what we need to do at the end of a day here. Just to make sure that I do it properly. Yeah, that's it. Overall, this is our map up front here. I won't go into the details of how I set this up. I did kind of cover this in the unboxing. But these cards are your map to the finish line. And they have multiple spots or locations on the bottom here that you can that represent difficulty in a sense, right? So the more locations or times you need to move forward, that essentially extends the length of the road, which then takes more time, therefore increasing the difficulty, right? Makes sense. Pretty straightforward there. So we are on our starting position. We are trying to get to F. We have this on the very lowest level, so everything is just on 3. I've got my dice here, a little tray, and yeah, we're ready to go. I already had these, essentially they're shuffled because I've never played, right? So they're essentially ready to go, but I will go ahead and give these another cursory spin here. cut them because you're supposed to. All right. And we're going to sit these here. All right, let's go. So the first location card is the High Nest. And one thing we're going to look at here is the location icons on the left and right. So we've got mountains and forest. I don't have them all memorized just yet. Maybe I should get that card out here too so we can compare those. Because I do believe there's a card in here that lists each of them. Yeah, here we go. I think this is it. Yeah, so we've got forest, water, mountains, and skull or death. So, in this one we've got mountains and forest on one side. And what we will need to do in order to gain or complete this card is to have a fight with an enemy and campgrounds. Or campfire, I should say. The campfire allows you to gain either 1 energy or 1 health, I believe that it is. It is not both in this game. Let me just make sure with the campfire. I'm immediately going to get some of this wrong, but of course that's the part I've only read these cards once so far. Did I already get them mixed up? I did a little. Let's see. Exploration, turn sequence. Exploration, here we go. Campsite. Oh, I was right the first time. It is a campsite. You may either rest or search at the camp of your rest. You may gain 2 health and 1 energy, or you search for food. Okay, so it is the same. All right, I'm just going to sit these out because this is probably not going to be the last time that I'm going to need to remind myself of some of these details here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead. Let's zoom in here. And we'll look down. There we go. So, what we have... Oh yeah, I forgot I can't do that. That's all right. All right. We don't really need the campsite. We're at 100%. So we're going to actually, right off the bat, we're just going to skip this. And how this works is, we are saying we do not want to resolve this card. So what we're actually going to do is pass on it. Normally, if we were to play it, we would sit this here, we would turn this secondary card and read the back. But it's actually the opposite. So this time I'm going to turn this. I'm going to move this here. Sorry, they're a little close. All right. And this probably wasn't a great choice, but we hit the trap, which means 2 health. So what does that mean? That means we have to go ahead and bring our health down by 2 right off the bat. Great. And next we need to fight some dark rats. So we go to the enemy deck. We find our dark rats. Not sure where specifically I'm supposed to put the rats. I think maybe actually here. Let's go with that. All right, dark rats. They have 2 hearts, but you always add the current day, I believe. Once again, let me just clarify. Combat. For your rotation, combat knows it except special powers, otherwise. That you spend. To determine the enemy's health, take the value next to the heart icon and add the current position in the sundial. So yes. So instead of the level of the dungeon in this case, it's the day of the week. So I'm going to put this back where it goes so I don't get confused. Okay. So it is going to be 3 health. We use this tracker here for the health, so it's the rats are 3. We get to go first. Here's what we decide is how much energy do we want to spend to try to kill these rats. So we are going to roll 2 dice, and we are going to subtract the dice from each other, and that's the number of attack we do. So it's not going to be hard for us to get a 3, but in addition to that, you have to decide how much energy you have to spend. So off the bat, you always have to spend your base energy. For this particular class, it happens to be 2. So or I'm sorry, I said that backwards. It's 1 energy. That's what this little tick is in the corner. So it's 1 energy gives you 2 attack, versus 2 energy points gets you an additional 5. So it might sound a little bit confusing, but I'll show you what that means. So we're actually just going to use 1 energy. So I'm going to tick this down. I'm going to roll my dice. Great. I basically got the lowest possible here. So just 1 point of damage. But what's lucky in this case is, and it's basically meant to set up this way. I'm sure Jason just decided that we wanted this to be essentially, that he wanted this to be essentially a free hit. So even if you roll the lowest possible, other than, you know, missing with a double 1, as long as you spend this 1 energy, at least with this combination, it's 3, right? So if it's I spent 1 energy, it's 2 damage plus 1, that's 3. So now the rat is dead. So we've successfully defeated this rat, and it has no defense, and it has no additional attack, and it didn't even get to attack. We killed it. What's cool about the dark rats, and this is consistent across the 10 realm universe, when you defeat a dark rat, you get to gain 1 food. So not only is this a really easy win, but we get food out of it. So this is essentially not really an enemy card in a lot of ways. So if you ever get the dark rats, it's a good thing. And that applies to 10 realm, just like it did in 10 home. So that's cool. All right, so that is resolved and completed. So I'm just going to leave this face down, I think. I'm not sure if I need to turn this back over, but this is the card that we resolved. Because this is the first location card resolved, we get to choose where we want to put this. But remember, we only get 6 cards that we can resolve total in a given day, and then we have to end, and we're going to end up shuffling and starting a whole new day. And each day gets progressively worse, right? So like for these dark rats, they only had 1 additional health point added. That was because it's the first day. Now, 7th day rats are going to be much worse, right? They're not going to be a free pass and free food. So there's that consideration as well. So there's definitely the strategy elements. So in this case, it's pretty obvious you would want to place this in the middle of your tableau. I guess technically you could do something like this if you wanted to block it off so that you could only add to one side. The only way that would be advantageous for you is if it was a skull. So if it had a skull, you would be blocking it off so you did not have a matched skull, which is an instant death in this case. Because I do believe you were forced to match a card if you resolve it. So like if I were to resolve this card and it had a skull on this side, and I had placed this one here with a skull on this side, I would be forced to match it and essentially end the game. But anyways, we're going to place this in the middle. With we have mountains on the left, and we have water on the right-hand side. And we're going to move on to the next card. So the next one here, let me go ahead and zoom in again. Oh, the tablet is going to be in the way. It's all right. Let me do this instead. There we go. So we have a trap and an unknown. I was actually a little confused by the question mark, only because I don't believe every back card has unknown on it, but I could be wrong there. Maybe it does. So this is just the discard over here. I think we just should skip this again. This is not that great. I don't want to immediately just lose more health. And we're not necessarily going to get anything good out of the question mark. But I skipped the last one, so let's just say let's just resolve this. So I'm gonna play this. We turn the second one over. So we are at Lakeside. Oh, we got lucky. So the trap for this is actually zero hit points. So it does nothing for us, actually, or to us. Nice, okay. And the question mark is the Wanderer. So we get to see one of the new cards already. So Wanderer says, you may trade any loot card with the Wanderer for any available trapping card. Okay, we're not going to want to do that. We only have 2. Or you may seek the Wanderer for directions, which will move you up 1 space on the map. All right, that's actually nice. So we're definitely going to do that one. which means take our little meeple guy. He's going to move one step forward. All right, that worked out. That was actually a good move then. We do get to resolve this, and what this also means is we get to match this. And you know what that means? So, and I'll just read it off the card, make sure that I get this correct. So this says, when you place cards into the Journey tableau, you will want to pay attention to the icons on the side edge of each card. Matching these icons when placing a card will trigger one of two outcomes. Whenever you match a forest, water, or mountain icon, you will advance the meeple one space on the map cards, like we just did. Reaching Oakenshelm at the F space is the only way to win 10 realm, and this is one of the best ways to advance your meeple along the map. So that's what we just did. So we got the one from the Wanderer, the one location forward, and we just added another card to our tableau. So that actually brings us to our second location. So we're moving along here. We're actually doing really, really good. Make this one, and let's go ahead and look at the next one here. I should really, I'm going to need to update these location marks here. Crap, the pyramid. We definitely want to skip the pyramid, I think. It's skulls and skulls. I really would just not like to not mess with this at all. So we're going to skip this. We turn it over. And it's this one. So we are actually at the Bone Rock. The Bone Rock, we need to fight, and then we are going to get Sun's Edge. I believe that is a loot card, but we have to kill this dire wolf first. So first, we're going to jump back out. We're going to look for the dire wolf. There he is. Sit him here for a sec. All right, let's read this guy. And we can zoom in so I can read it. All right. So it says, dire wolf. He's got 4 health, 2 attack, no shield or defense, and he has 1 favor, represented with the Ankh there. Wolves always attack first in combat. Dang it. You may avoid combat with this dire wolf by spending 1 food. Something to consider. Do we want to skip this, or do we want to fight this wolf? What do we gain from fighting this wolf? We gain 1 favor. Oh, you know what I just realized? Do we never... Do the rats give you favor? I should, right? Yeah. Oops. I never put my favor up. Okay, so we have 1 favor. Alright, back to the question. Do we want to fight this dire wolf? We have the extra rations. We're well into the... still early in the day, so we're not going to need to spend it. How this works, at the end of the day, we're going to have to spend or eat 1 ration at the end of the day, and when we theoretically camp for the next day. If we don't, it's very damaging. I believe it's 5 health. What am I saying? 3 health, which is a lot. That's a lot of health to lose. I really don't want to just give this thing up. 4 health means actually 5 health because it's the first part of the day. We get 2. Let's just do it. Let's just try to fight this thing. All right. So I'm going to... Now we could spend 2 energy and say we don't want to mess around, and essentially no matter what, we're going to kill this thing, right? Because if it's 5 damage for 2 energy as a base or an addition, depending on how you look at it, and it has no defense, we're basically going to win. Or do we want to gamble? Do we want to only use 1 energy? Because we have 9, and again, a lot of the day to go through. I say let's risk it. I'm just going to spend 1 energy. We're only going to do a baseline of 2, so that means we need to roll and get at least a 3. That's actually really hard to do. Let's see. Oh, outside doesn't count. Dang it. Frickin' A. Alright. Oh, well, I'm not going to cheat. So the wolf goes first, right? I read it out loud and totally just forgot because you normally go first in this, but this is going to end up being our subsequent roll. I'm just going to say it sucks. So it's going to be 2 plus 3, but the wolf gets to go first, okay? So it's going to be a total of 3. Let's go ahead and track the wolf properly here because it's supposed to be on 5. I forgot to change that as well. So let's let the wolf go. Hopefully this wolf rolls doubles and actually doesn't even hurt me at all. Let's see. Nope, it hits me for 2. I do have the Iron Helm, which reduces it by 1, right? So it's actually just 1 health. So that's not that bad. So health is right. Where are you? Here we go. Down by 1. Now we are going to say that our first attack went through with that energy that we had already spent. So that was a total of 3. So if he's at 5, it brings him down to 2. Now we can go again. So we are definitely not spending 2 energy. Of course, that would be a total waste. We're going to spend the 1 energy. As a consideration, we do have the option to, no matter what, to not spend energy and only attack the wolf with 1 guaranteed health point. The idea there is maybe if you're out of energy completely, which can and frankly does happen, and you need to still fight, this is how you're able to accomplish that and potentially still win and complete the card or complete the fight. And I think Jason has said the idea is like, it's a hand-to-hand attack, right? It's very low. It's the least amount of damage you can possibly do. But you have the ability to choose to do that. If this wolf had 1 health left, I would be choosing to do that. I don't need to waste the energy, but I don't want to run the risk of me, on that second attack, that wolf could do a lot more damage to me, right? So I don't want to risk it. We got lucky. I only got one health loss with that last hit. So my very long story short is we're going to do 1 more energy roll and add 2 to it. Freaking AI doubled, but we have the broadsword. So when you roll doubles in combat, you may re-roll, but you must use the new result. Well, of course, but just good, right? Okay, much better. 6 minus 3 is 3, plus 2, 5. He's dead. So we're going to go up in rank. Favor, I should say. Put him back. And that's it. He is vanquished. We're still at the Bone Rock. The next thing is we need to, or we locate or discover at the Bone Rock, a Sun's Edge. So let's find out what the Sun's Edge is. This is a new item, I believe. I've not heard of. Sun's Edge. Here it is. All right, Sun's Edge says when in combat against an undead enemy, you may inflict an additional 2 damage on successful hits when in combat against. Okay, cool. It doesn't specify, from what I read in the directions around situations like this where the loot is 2 swords. In 10 or Iron Helm, you don't normally wield. You have a primary hand and a secondary, like an accessory. I don't think that applies. Basically, what I'm saying is I think we still have and get to use both of these. Maybe I missed it in the notes or not, but anyways, we're gonna say that we're basically dual wielding at this point. Like in a situation where if there was a shield, I don't know if I'm required or should suggested that I drop one of these, or I'm not able to use both of the weapons while I'm holding a shield, because thematically that would make sense, right? You can't really use all 3 of those things at the same time. But the Sun's Edge is definitely a nice addition. So if we come into contact with undead, an additional 2 damage is going to be nice. So that resolves this card. The downside is this does have a skull on one side. We can choose where we want to put this because nothing matches. So we do have the option to put this here to block this skull so it doesn't ever get a match. The only downside to that is this does not count as our progression for our meeple. So this just is essentially is a wasted part of the day from that concept. We didn't progress. We got stuck here. We had to fight a dire wolf, but we did find a sword while we were doing it. But we didn't make it through the day. If we want to think of this thematically. But moving on to the next card here. I'm just going to leave this zoomed out. We have the Dark Pool. So the Dark Pool is going to be a fight and water. I think we're going to go ahead and do this one. Let's go ahead and see what we're going to have to fight here. We will have to fight a Bane Spider. Let's look at the Bane Spider. Alright, Bane Spider, you gain 1 poison every time the Bane Spider successfully hits during combat. And it has 4 health, plus the 1 because it's a part of the day. It also has an additional 1 attack. So we're going to want to kill this thing relatively quickly. We're not going to want to mess around. I don't want to get poisoned if we can help it. We're going to go ahead and spend our first 2 energy, I think, because we do have water coming up, and the water is going to allow us to no, that's food, not energy. We would only need a 3. This is the same as the situation as the dire wolf from a points perspective. I don't want to risk it. Let's just go ahead and do 2 points. 1, 2. That means we're going to get 5. We're definitely going to kill this thing. Roll. I rolled doubles, freaking A, but we roll again, right? Because we got our broadsword. So that's 2 plus 5, that's 7. Instantly dead. We're up on the favor. We're moving quickly. Alright. So I think we're making some good progress here. So the next part with the water is you can always look for food when you find water. Roll 1 dice, and if the result is either a 5 or a 6, you gain food. Okay, so we could get lucky here again. And we are, so that means 1 more ration. And we're going to go ahead and... yeah, that's resolved, right? So, move this over. Does anything match? Yes. The mountains match right here. That's pretty cool. You can see our little picture coming together, which means our meeple moves forward. So we've now successfully moved to our second card. But we are 4 out of our 6, so we are now in the afternoon or evening part of our day. And the next thing we have here is this obelisk, and it's a trap, but we also get a treasure chest. I don't know why, but I feel like we should resolve this, even though this is the trap. I feel like maybe we'll regret it. But let's see. Let's see what we get. So we are going to go ahead and resolve. Come on, pick up the card, just 1. Flip it. The trap. Oh, 2 health. Okay. 2 health. 1, 2. And then this is an elixir. So let's see what the elixir is. Elixir says you may discard this card from you may discard this card from play to gain 1 health and 3 energy. Oh, nice. That is a very good card. We're probably going to need that really soon. Alright, so I'll say my feelings were correct. Can we place this anywhere? Nope. There's a skull on it, so we don't really want it. And I don't want to free up. What do I want to block? What do I think might be we're going to get again? I have no clue. So, I mean, no matter what, the better bet is to block the skull, so it needs to go on the left-hand side right here. Okay, this is going to be our last set of cards here. Last part of the day. And I'll probably call it quits and wrap this up, because it's already taken me... How long has this been going? almost 30 minutes. This is a long time. I'm talking a lot, but we're making progress. The game is going relatively smooth. I think it makes sense so far. So, do we want to fight this monster in the deep wood? Or do we want to skip it? I kind of want to skip it and see what this next one is. So let's just do that. We're going to skip. Oof, this is a big one. The labyrinth. That's like the worst thing that could happen. We're going to lose some food now. Let's find the labyrinth. You do have to resolve these left to right. So labyrinth must be done first. So we are going to regain some of this back, potentially. Not gain some back. Well, we'll see if we get lucky again, regain a ration. But here we go. The labyrinth says, you find yourself lost in a dark, cavernous maze. Spend 2 food to escape. 2 food. If you do not have enough food, you waste a day looking for an exit. Advance the sun tracker 1 day forward. So you could lose an entire day. But we're on our last card. Is this like cheating? Or is this like a loophole? I could just let it happen, because that's literally going to happen right after this. It doesn't... No, I would imagine the rule would be I still advance. It's just like I take the full penalty plus that, so I would want to skip it. Yeah, that wouldn't be fair. So we're gonna be starving, because I went from 3 food and now we're gonna lose both of them to the labyrinth. Huh. Well, at least the good news is that we have them. So down to 1. That's just to get us out of there. Now to get water. Are we gonna get lucky? Can I get some of this food again? The water, 5 or 6 we get food. Nope. But the campfire, or the campsite, to read it again, you may either rest or search at the camp. If you rest, you gain 2 health and 1 energy. If you search, you gain 1 food. I think I want to do the first part. We have enough food to end the day, because we're going to need to spend this to get to day 2. But I want the health. And the energy too. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So 1 energy, 2 health. There's that. And that is going to end our day. Does this match anywhere? Please let this match somewhere. No, freaking A. It does not. Well, we'll put it over here. So here's our first progression. We did pretty good. So we moved up 3 spaces. We've essentially already done all the requirements for the end of the day, other than this. So we move it to number 2. Our favors at 3. Our energy is at 6. We actually have no rations. We just ate it for the end of this day. Our health is at 10. We actually have no poison, which is good. And there's no enemies for us to fight right now. But this is where we end our first day. So not too bad. It's about 30 minutes to get here. I think the next one will go a little bit quicker. But anyways, I wanted to, I guess, share this first playthrough of Ten Realm with you. This is definitely an awesome game and a great addition to the Great Gnome Games line of 10 games, and specifically the ones that Jason himself has designed here. So I do have all of them. This is all 6 of them. And this is the most recent one, Ten Realm. So thanks for watching the video. I do plan on continuing in the next one to do the next day, day 2. So if you enjoyed this and want to continue this journey in Ten Realm, look for the next video. So thanks for watching.